Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very welcome back to the channel. Now, this is a new type of video because I'm going to promote Matt Sawyer, slipjointsawyer on YouTube and Instagram. Please go and follow him. He's also one of the main instigators of starting the Slipjoint Sanitarium, which is a fabulous Facebook group. Please go and join it if you haven't already. I'll put the details, the name of the group down below in the description, and I'll also put Matt's email down there. And this is where, if you want to get any of these things that I'm going to show you, if you want to get them done by Matt, that's where you can get the details down below in the description. There's just a wee arrow right down below the video. You'll see a wee arrow more. Hit that and it'll go down to the description. Now, the title, Refresh Your Slip Joints. And that's what I'm calling it. But it's not. It doesn't encompass everything Matt does, because he also does sack knives and he rebuilds them, does all sorts. Now, this is the only one that is a gift from Matt. And not that he hasn't offered any more. I'll have to be truly honest. He really did offer to do some of these for free. And it's not what I wanted, because the price he charges is incredibly competitive. I don't know anybody else who would do it for that price. So there's one thing to take into consideration. This was a knife he made for me. And he had asked me what I wanted. And I wanted on this sack, because you know what I'm like with sacks. I don't count them as pen knives. They're multi-tools. So all I wanted on this one, and this is a knife that sits on my desk along with the one that Justin built for me. God, that was hard to say. So this one has a magnifying glass, because I'm blind, as an inline posi screwdriver, and it has the fantastic pair of thin pliers, which is great when you're doing maintenance of knife. For me, I have a bit of a jittery hand, so sometimes getting a grip on something properly, this is a super little pair of pliers, and I use these constantly for lifting things up off my desk. So, I mean, he made this big, thick scales on them, and to be honest with you, that is perfect. It really is perfect, because I can get a good hold of it when I'm screwing. It really does give it. It's fantastic. So, thank you, Matt, for that. But that's where it all started for him, was on Victorinox, and he rebuilt and done lots of Victorinox for people, and again, at a really, really reasonable price. But he has ventured out now the last few months, and it's only been a few months, which is bloody annoying that somebody can be that talented. And he has now started to do revamps on slip joints, traditional knives. He'll recover them for you. He'll embellish them for you. He will raise your collection up from, I mean, we all have them. I love old pocket knives, and they come with lovely woods in them, but a lot of the time they're damaged, they're chipped, the pins have gone, but they're still lovely in my collection, and I still keep a lot of them. But there's 3 of these had this sort of scale on them. The old plastic jig scale, which again is not a bad scale. This is an old Arthur Wright one. Is it Arthur Wright? Yeah, I think it is. This is an old Arthur Wright one. And I've no habit. Yeah, there you go. Arthur Wright. It's an old Arthur Wright slip joint with the plastic scales on it. Now, I'll never get rid of this one because it's in great condition. It looks good, and it's what it was of its era. So I don't want to take away from all my older knives and what they were made of. But there's some that, and these are a few of them, that I'm going to show you. This one. This one is a, let me just get it over. I can read it on that side. It is on both blades, but this is a J.M. Thompson, or J.H. Thompson, little pen knife. Fantastic. Still got all the snap. Really beautifully made. And this had them plastic. If you imagine that with this. And he put wenge wood on it, which I've never had before. Look at that. Look at the grain in that wood. And it really does stand out. You can feel the grain where it drops and raises. It's fantastic looking. I will definitely be having more wenge wood in my life. I just think it's fantastic. So he redone this. And he's made an absolutely beautiful job. He also done file work. He's just starting the file work. But look at that for somebody who's just starting out in file work. He has just refreshed this knife, that it's an up-to-date old knife, if that makes any sense. It does in my head, but it's refreshed it. It's a beautiful knife to have in my collection. Everything about it is just beautiful. And he took it all apart and cleaned it. Just super job. This one I actually bought from him. These four I paid for. This one I bought off him. He had it just up for sale on the Slipjoint Sanitarium because they have a selling page on there for traditional knives mostly, but they'll sell anything. But this is a large lamb foot. I haven't had a large lamb's foot before, and he had obviously found this one. He found it at car boot sale or something, and he revamped it. It had been badly scored, but he's taken most of it off. It's now a very useful lamb's foot knife. And he put, this is ash wood on it, very plain, very blonde, but it feels so lovely in the hand. So lovely, very light, but great big knife, but does not weigh you down in the pocket. Just a lovely knife. Again, a beautiful part of my collection now for so little money. And that's the thing. I mean, God, things are tight for an awful lot of people. And, you know, I often feel very guilty about showing off the more expensive knives I got. And then I think to myself, no, I've worked for them. It's my money. You know, I've built up a YouTube channel, and I've done it basically on my own money because I don't get paid for YouTube anymore. And even when I did, it wasn't very much money. So I had a lot less subscribers then. But now it's just me. This just refreshed. I mean, here's 4 knives. I'm going to put this up here with that. Here's 4 knives that I sent to him and he refreshed. You've seen the first one. This next one is a completely bog standard Taylor's Eyewitness. They're about £36, £37 now. I'm not sure, that just roughly around that price. And it comes in the basic hardwood, and it is the basic hardwood. It's not very attractive looking. And the one I'd had was sort of, the pins were, there was not cracks, but it just didn't look nice at all. And it has that very plain blade on it. They're not polished like the high-end Taylor's Eyewitness. Matt took it. Now, this one was made for me by a fella years ago in Scotland, and he put a little bit of white bone at the top of where the old wood was. And I said, Matt, would you keep that? Because in homage to the fella who actually gave me the knife, and the fella had also put the back spring in this one, but the rest is matte. He polished it all up. He polished the blade up completely. He's added a bit of buffalo. And then on this side, we have English yew wood, Y-E-W. And it is stunning. But the nicest part in this budget, this really is the Taylor's Eyewitness budget knife. I've got a polished blade now. Now, this is stainless steel, so a lovely polish on it. And you can see Taylor's Eyewitness, the basic model, but the bolsters, which again are not polished on the basic one, he polished them all up. And now I have a completely fantastic looking basic model. And I mean, his prices start at £25 for, you know, taking it apart, cleaning it, and then putting a new scale on it. £25. This is probably going to cost you a bit more. But he was very kind and done these all for me for, I think one was for 30 and the other were 25. But that was prices I gave him because he wasn't going to charge for most of them. And I just think he put so much love into these. And are you going to get the most perfect knife back? Probably not. But it will be as good as Matt can get them. And he is getting better and better. And I have no faults with this knife whatsoever. Look at the way that transition is. It is fantastic. The new scale on it, fantastic. The pin work, you literally can't feel a thing. It is perfect. So to me, this is a fantastic knife that will not leave my collection. Well, it never needs to because it's beautiful as a budget knife, refreshed. This one, I can't tell you how much I love this one. If you've seen the state of this knife, again, it had these plastic scales, but they were like a light browny, creamy, faded into pink and so on. They were awful looking. This was a parts knife from a travelling salesman, one of the last travelling salesmen for knife companies around the UK. And this is what he carried. And he gave it to Frank at Fraymore Knives when he retired. And Frank, so glad, it's one of the loveliest gifts I had. It was basic. The wood was very basic. Or not the wood, sorry. The plastic was awful looking. The back springs were still full of cuts where it had gone through with a saw and cut the knife. It's a parts knife that he had obviously asked somebody to knock me up a wee knife there, and they've done it in their lunchtime, give him a wee knife to carry about with them. And honestly, this now, look at that wood. It is beautiful. English oak, and it is stunning, really stunning. Polished all the bolsters. Again, this is a very basic knife. And then the blades on this were very basic, very crudely ground out. Again, just a rush job. And he done all that for me. Sorry, I've been using this. Not great, used this. I'd never really used it before. But this is lovely. I've got a nice edge on it now. You got a nice pen blade. Nice enough snap on that. And then the little pen blade, again, he has polished it up much better than what it was. This was a really rough knife. I liked it because it was one of the last travelling salesmen in the UK, taking knives around shops and selling them. So now it's a fantastic part of my collection from a completely bog standard knife. Well, it was below standard. It would never have gone out. It was unfinished and just used as a work knife. And then this to me is the one at the minute that I just absolutely love. This is an Arthur Wright. The very basic rosewood. Now, it was an older model of Arthur Wright. You can see by the stamp here, it was the older model. There you go. Absolutely. And it's about an 8 pull. Not so snappy on the close, but it was an older knife. I bought this second hand some time ago. And the rosewood had been pretty just battered and used. So I asked him, would he put the English oak on it? And look at that English oak. Is that not just stunning? Again, pin work. Absolutely does all the pinning himself. But I'd asked him, would he put a Trevor Ablett bolster? Now, Trevor Ablett was an old Sheffield maker. And he had this design of a bolster that was used by others, but it was, I think it was designed by him. And here it is. And this was done. He had to remake these bolsters. You can see you've got a flat here, a flat at the top, and a flat down the side. And it's the same on the other side. I just think that elevates. He also done the back spring on this. And I know he's going to learn more patterns. But he's literally just started doing it. So that now elevates this knife into something else altogether. I absolutely adore this. One, because I like the really strong pull. Now, I know a lot of people don't, but I get really strong nails. And like this one is an 8.5. Really strong. He polished the blade. This is just carbon steel. Now, come back in a month and I'll show you this blade will not look like this. It'll be black, but it's still going to have that shine underneath it. And I just adore it. I absolutely adore it. It is now one of my favourite knives. This has really got me as well, though. I can't pick favourites because they all mean such a difference. These two in the middle were just terrible condition, and they're now absolutely beautiful and great users, as are these two up here. Very special knife. But to come from this on wood to this and then to these, refreshing is the new black. Let me tell you, refreshing is the new black. This is how you can improve for a basic rescale, £25. You're not going to get better than that. Plus, you got to pay postage on that. But it's not, a few pounds for postage. And you're getting a completely revamped knife. I think it's amazing. It just changes your collection, and you're paying low second-hand prices to go and buy a knife. And you're not going to get one finished as well as this. Matt, thank you very much. I wish you every success. And I know you're going to be successful because this is an offering. This is an offer to do stuff that the other production knife makers don't have time for, to do things like this. And it's the first person I know that's sort of doing it on a regular basis. Matt has a full-time job, so you might have to wait when you send him a knife. Tough luck. That's it. That's what it is. He has a full-time job, which is more important, and this is his hobby. But he's now going to make a couple of quid off it, and I just can't wish him every bit of success that he can have. I really do. And he is going to change my collection up. But I mean, I'm not going to get rid of all these, because this is still part of the history, and I want that history in my collection. This is just knives that I wouldn't have carried anymore. You know, except for that one, I did carry that one. What am I saying? No, this one. I did carry it, but it now looks a completely revamped knife. But I don't want to change all my knives. Just ones that are in that collection there that you pick up in car boot sales, or you pick up secondhand for pennies. You can now just get a new knife to you. Waffling on now. Where have we got? No, 50 minutes. Not too bad. Anyhow, look, go and check Matt's YouTube channel. He has a fantastic channel. He'll show you lots of different things. Last week, he done a video on taking an old knife apart, revamping it, and put it back together again with new scales. It's about 45 minutes long. I was enthralled, as is everybody who's watched it, at how much you have to learn to do this simple task. What looks like a simple task. Not for me. I'm not that talented. So, and he was on our podcast, not yesterday, but the week before, and he was on there showing us live how to do things, talking about what he does, what he can do. Go and watch that. One of the best podcasts I've had on the show. So, there you go. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you take advantage of what we have here in the UK, which we've never really had before. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye now.